We are Qlic IT for charities. My name is Adam Graham and I am the MD, and I'm joined by my colleague today who will be hosting us, Mike Horton, our Head of Business Development. And today we're doing a webinar on Copilot, talking about Copilot licensing and the differences between the different versions, Copilot Free, Copilot Paid and Copilot Studio. So the first in a new series that we're starting called Brunch Bites, which we're going to try and run at least once a month in tandem with our existing webinars and other content that we put out. So do stay informed for that. We have a newsletter sign up on our website. You can stay in touch with us and find out all about the content that we're putting out.
Something we get asked a lot about here at Qlic, which is specifically around Copilot and Copilot licensing. For anyone who doesn't know what Copilot is, I'm sure you probably do if that's the reason you're here. It's an AI assistant. It uses large language models, part of the ChatGPT range of GPTs. So yeah, Copilot's intended to be your AI assistant. I've picked up here, and it's a bit cheeky, I've picked up a Google, the CEO of Google's quote, because I thought it really encapsulated what Microsoft Copilot wants to do and actually where AI is going. So the future of AI is not about replacing humans, it's about augmenting human capabilities. And that's very much where Copilot sits. This is not intending to replace staff. This is not another member of the team per se, but really the idea is we want to save time, reduce your admin, give you more ideas, more scope for working, and space as well to do the work that really matters to you. And what I wanted to focus on specifically in the next sort of 10, 15 minutes or so is the three versions of Copilot that are currently available and how they sit for your users and your organization. So I'm going to start with one that probably everyone will be familiar with or certainly would have heard of, which is Copilot Chat. So this is free to use if you're using Microsoft Edge. If you're not, I really would recommend it. If you're still using perhaps Google Chrome or even Firefox, other browsers, Edge is really good nowadays. And it's got Copilot built into the sidebar. So in the top right of your browser, if you're using Edge at the moment, you should be able to see the little Copilot chat icon there. It's so built into Microsoft Edge, built into Teams as well. So if you're using Microsoft Teams, you may already have it in there. If not, you can add the app within Teams, and obviously you can get it on your mobile as well. You only need a Microsoft account for this, not even a paid for one, but just any Microsoft account. If you've got Microsoft 365 already, any kind of licensing, you can use that to sign in. But obviously, this is probably the one that most people are familiar with. So it's really good for quick learning, fact checking, ideas, decision support. Actually, I had a good example of this. So over the weekend, I bought a new vacuum cleaner and used it to find the best option for me. And it did a really good job of it. Well, hopefully it did. It turns up tomorrow, I think. So hopefully we'll find out if that works. But yeah, so the idea really with the Copilot chat is to engage you within AI. It's a good starting point, I think, for a lot of users and probably where most people have begun their journey. So with Copilot Chat, it pulls from public web data. So specifically, we're talking about websites, etc. What it's not doing is pulling from your internal systems. That will be the next slide when I go on to that one. So it can't see your emails, files, calendars, things like that. It's only going to be able to point to websites and content, obviously, that's publicly available. But it is really good at helping you to maximize and maximize the efficiency of your day. But also, I think, and Adam will probably attest to this, we begun using this at Qlic a long time ago, and actually I think most of our users really started to see the value over time. So the way I would describe Copilot Chat, or even any of these Copilots really, is from day one when you first onboard it as an organization or start using it in earnest as an organization, it's like having an apprentice that doesn't know you, doesn't know the organization, doesn't know your tone of voice and the type of content and how you want to see things. So you really do need to use it, train it, develop it the same way you would a member of staff to really get to know you as an organization. So anyone that jumped on this, I think it was released probably coming up to a couple of years ago now for the public, anyone that jumped on straight away will be probably really good prompters by now. I know there's university courses and online courses you can do that get really good at prompting. One thing I did quickly want to mention, I won't spend too much time on this one because this is probably the one that most people are very familiar with, is if you're not already using them, there are free pre-built agents that Microsoft have done. Some are really good, but one I specifically want to mention was the Prompt Coach. So we're obviously really good Googlers, but a lot of people aren't used to prompting in AI and understanding how you can revise over and over again with what you're asking for. So Microsoft have built Prompt Coach. You can go into Prompt Coach and you can ask, look, I'm looking for something to help me post social media posts better. What's a good way to ask for that, and how would I build the prompt out? And then it's going to give you some guidance on ways of developing that prompt to then put into a Copilot chat. And all of this is still done within Copilot as well. Put that into a Copilot chat, and obviously it will give you the output that you're looking for. So free version, all you need is a Microsoft account of any kind. You can jump into Copilot chat and start querying there.
Just to add to what Mike was saying there as well, in terms of how we've been using it and how we've built onto it, is definitely when we first started using ChatGPT or Copilot, it was very much a case of, what am I going to use this for? How am I going to use it? And over time, you build those use cases in your head. We've done webinars before where we've had other charity partners come in and talk about how they're using it. It's about, the more you use it, the more ideas you get. And you're very much, I'll just try this one thing initially. And then you're thinking, it's not really helping me too much. But then over that time period of now 12, 24 months of using it regularly, all of a sudden you go from, I'll Google this to, no, I'll just ask ChatGPT to do that for me. And it's a change of mindset, really, of how you're doing things and how you find the best results of doing something. And that's really been something that's been really profound for us as a company, as a team. Changing our mindset from, I'll Google that or I'll research that, or actually I'll let Copilot research that for me, and then I'll make my own human decision on top of that once I've got the information that is brought to me, which I found that's really, really interesting over the last couple of years to change that mindset of our team, and hopefully you'll see the same.
Yeah, and this kind of takes us on to the Microsoft 365 side of things, really. So the M365 Copilot, these are the paid-for licenses, and on the last slide I'll show you there's a quick view so you can see all the different pricing that's on there. This kind of takes it one step further. So it's great having an assistant next to you that can answer lots of questions, but actually what you want to be able to do is say, well, what happened last week? While I was away on holiday, give me a summary on what happened within my emails or within Teams, or what's been updated since I've been away. This is where the 365 Copilot license really sits within your organization. So it works directly inside Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Teams. So it's available in all of those places and apps. And it connects into your organizational data as well. And importantly, all of this stays within Microsoft 365. So it doesn't train any models. You are purely using it within your organization, and it can only see what's within your tenant. Also worth mentioning at this point, some of you may be dabbling with this license already, and some may be thinking about doing it. If there's any gaps in your permissions, certainly within something like SharePoint, really do look at those before you start getting this licensing, or if you've got it already, go away and start having a look. Because obviously what we're talking about here is with Copilot for Microsoft 365, there's some blocking, so it can do things like, I think one of the prompts I heard the other day was, if you go and ask what's my manager's salary, I'm pretty sure it's going to come back and say, I can't give you that information. But there's other ways around it, and there's some quite creative ways of asking for that same information, and it will deliver it if the user can see it. So it is important to make sure that your permissions are up to scratch and people are only seeing what they really should be able to see within SharePoint anyway. Then when they go in and query this information, it will only pull back the information that their account should be able to see within Microsoft 365. The real power of this as well is agents. I don't know if anyone's been sort of playing around with these. They've been around for a while now, but Copilot agents are really where this kind of takes off onto its own. I'll come back to that a bit more on the Copilot Studio, because that's really around building agents out. But there's some cool stuff you can do within the apps as well. So obviously within Teams itself, you can get it to recap meetings, give me notes, follow-ups on a meeting, tell me what I missed, even do things like tell me who spoke the most on a meeting if you've got it mixed with the Teams premium license. So there's lots of information that you can get. But some of the examples I've got on the screen there are some of the ones that I use quite a lot and have come across for other organizations. So within Outlook, I hate the scheduling assistant, so I always like to just use Copilot and say, find me 30 minutes with Adam this week to discuss our upcoming webinar. It will go away, find 30 minutes when we're both available, and give me the pop up the event prompt so I can add any notes to that, the agenda if I want to, and save that and send the invite over to Ad. Summarize the last 10 emails from trustees into key action points ahead of my next meeting with them is another great one. Draft a 2-page funding proposal based on these meeting notes. This is one we use at Qlic quite a lot as well, especially for internal meetings where we're having quite in-depth conversations and a lot of follow-up points around our leadership meetings. We go away and draw up all of these into sort of meeting notes and action points for everyone to follow as well. And then really deep, and I'm skirting over a lot of what this can do in terms of functionality at the moment, but really deep analysis within Excel and using Python as well. So another good query, analyze this Excel spreadsheet and highlight any unusual spending trends. So if you think about Copilot Chat, it's great for going out to the world and asking questions of things I don't know, information, even helping me draft documents. With 365 Copilot, I can take that one step further and say, well, actually, I need to draft a document. Say I'm a charity. I need to draft a document for my organisation for a particular funding application, and I want you to point to our mission statement and previous funding applications we've made, etc., etc. You can point to all of these different locations, and it will then contextualize what you're asking it to do and build the document based on your tone of voice, the kind of content, the information specific to your organization. So a lot of this you can do, not so much the internal stuff, but with Copilot Chat, you can give the chat knowledge of you as an individual. But every time you do that, you have to start that conversation again. So this is really good for Microsoft 365 Copilot. The big difference here is it can see your data as well as an organization. So it's not just looking at the web, although it can do both. When you're talking to it and interacting, you can go away and say, well, what's our, I think I saw somebody the other day and said that our employee handbook and our HR policies and things are buried so far deep in our SharePoint, no one knows where they are. They've built some Copilots, some agents, which I'll come into a second, to query that data. So a user can say, well, what's our maternity leave policy? And it will go away and look up the latest policy, tell them where that is, but also deliver the information within the chat. If I jump into Copilot Studio, this might be the one where it gets a little bit trickier, or people may have come across this one, but perhaps not understood the differences. So Copilot Studio is what Copilot Chat and Microsoft 365 Copilot use to build agents. So if anyone's just used chat and not developed any agents yet, I would really recommend spending some time on those. We do have some other videos, and we can send the links around. I think they might be going in the chat, of some demos we've done about creating agents and how you can do that. An agent really is a contextualized version of the chat. So for example, I believe I saw one customer using this one the other day. They wanted to increase their LinkedIn posts and the quality of the LinkedIn posts. So they developed an agent, which is a specific Copilot Chat, and they gave the context to it. So they said, I'm the CEO of this organization. I want to post meaningful content. I want to focus on our organization when I'm doing it. I want to make sure I include a photo. I want to make it about something that's going on in my week, etc., etc. Gave it a lot of context around the agent. And every time they go in and say, I'm on holiday this week, and we develop a LinkedIn post for that, it uses all of that context that is pre-given within that chat to give them a dedicated and much more refined chat response, rather than just a generic, or requiring them to add all that context every time before they do it. All of this is technically done within Copilot Studio. Now, Copilot Studio you can license in a few different ways. So I mentioned already, you can develop as individuals. You can develop free Copilot agents within Copilot Chat for you. They're not shareable, but you can use it as an individual. And again, within Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can develop agents for yourself and share those to users from there who also have paid for Copilot licenses. With Copilot Studio, what we're focusing on here is organizational agents. So a great example of this, we've got a couple of them here at Qlic. Not everyone within Qlic needs a fully paid for Copilot license, but actually there's some really good contextualized agents that we want other people to be able to use. So there's a couple of different options we've got here that we can do. You can buy a message pack, which gives you 25,000 messages per month, which you can use within an agent, and that's across your organization. So I can get a Copilot Studio user license that's completely free. Everyone can have those. I can build an agent myself, and I can share that out to the team, and they can then use that agent to query whatever they want to do. Importantly, though, and this is the catch that a lot of people don't see, it's not particularly clear in the way that Microsoft say it. If an agent queries Microsoft 365 data, so if I'm a Copilot Studio user license, or I've got a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, and I start building an agent and reference something from SharePoint, for example, or a Word document, whatever it might be, then the user on the receiving end of that agent also needs to have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. Otherwise, all it will do is treat it like a normal Copilot Chat free version, and will only cross-reference anything that's publicly available. It won't look at my data anymore. So that's a super important one. You can still build free Copilot chats for individuals, but for Copilot Studio, if you're building individual ones and sharing them out to other users and querying Microsoft 365 data, the user you're sharing with does need to have the appropriate licensing for it as well.
Yeah, just to confirm then, so the Copilot Chat and Copilot Studio for a single user is completely free. You can create Copilot Studio agents for your own use internally within your account, completely free. If you want to share it with someone, then you would need a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, a paid license, or you can buy a Copilot Studio license with a message pack to share it with everyone in your organization for like 25,000 messages per month, and you can get extra message packs on top of that. But if you wanted to query your data, they will still need Microsoft 365 Copilot license.
Yeah, I was working on this yesterday because I thought it's good to explain it, but it's actually really good to just have it all on one slide. And I've kind of broken down the different licensing available and the pricing that's on there as well. But yeah, I can understand why Microsoft have done it that way. And look, this is today. Who knows what tomorrow brings? I really don't know how they might change it, because I think it is getting a bit confusing that everything's called Copilot. But anyway, if I quickly recap what we've been through, so Copilot Chat is the free version. Everyone has access to that with a Microsoft account. It's built into Edge, Teams, get it on your mobile as well. If you're not doing that, I really would recommend having it everywhere available to you. That's what's made me, I actually use Copilot and ChatGPT, but that's what's made me really see the benefit of these is by using it personally as well as professionally. So definitely start with that if you're not already. Microsoft 365 Copilot, if you're looking to start developing, particularly if you're developing agents, if you want to start querying your internal data, this is the one to have. You've got some price in there as well. There's a bit of a discount for charities on there, which is really good. And then Copilot Studio, as Adam mentioned, you can buy a 25,000 message pack. So it means you don't have to license everybody in your organization with a Copilot license, but you can still share agents to them and have them query the data. If the agents that you're building points to Microsoft 365 data, they need to have 365 Copilot, but that might still mean that not everyone needs to use it. And then you can do pay-as-you-go pricing available on that as well. So you're allowed one 25,000 message pack, and then it's a penny per message after that for any agents that you use. You can also, I've not touched on this because we're Brunch Bites, we're not any longer. Obviously, a lot of this connects into your CRM systems, finance tools, databases. I mean, one of the things I think, and probably will agree with this, one of the best uses I've seen of it is organizations that are creating agents that point within their Microsoft 365 data to previous funding applications, their tone of voice documents, even some of their marketing collateral, and using those to complete what are, let's face it, quite laborious funding applications, project applications, things like that. It's saving so much time on those.
Or provide statistics.
It's really worth it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Previous projects or services they've delivered, and be able to say, pull out all the stats on this project that we delivered or this service we delivered from our existing data, which is really, really powerful. Again, hopefully your team know that it's correct or not, the statistics, but it's a quick way of doing it, and hopefully it's accurate. We found those kind of things really, really useful, looking at the data that we've already got and pulling out the answers for you without you having to delve into multiple documents, multiple projects, etc. That's really where we've seen the biggest benefits. Someone's put here, presumably available Copilot paid for features depends on what license you have. No, so as long as you have a paid Copilot license, you get all the features, or as Mike explained there, the Studio has a different feature, but your Microsoft Business Basic, Business Premium, Business Standard, whatever license you've got does not affect what Copilot can do. Is based on the Copilot license type. Harish has asked what are the top 5 uses for each level of Copilot so far. So it's quite hard for us because obviously we use it in a different way, but some of the charities that we work with, definitely in terms of grant applications, funding applications, marketing, reviewing potential funders, finding people to fund with, those kind of things, filling out tender documents if they have to tender for funding as well. Those are going to be the biggest wins and the quickest wins because it is a language model, and all of those kind of things are based on language. Like Mike said, the HR ones for large organizations are really, really good as well.
Helping you to kick off an email and say, I'm not sure how to phrase. I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to quite phrase that well. It's really good at that. So you can type up your original draft, ask Copilot. It will give you coaching on it. It will redraft it for you if you want to. You can give it a prompt and say, make this politer. I don't know, more professional, less professional, more casual, however you want to do it, and it will help you rewrite that as well. So yeah, there's lots of good. We probably went through on one of the previous ones actually in a bit more detail around what's the kind of top uses, and one of the ones around agents as well. We might do a brunch bite specifically on agents because I think it would be really useful.
Jan's asked what's the advantage of Copilot over Asana. To be honest, I haven't used Asana, but I will say that obviously Microsoft 365 Copilot can look at your Microsoft 365 data if that's where your data is. So SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, Outlook, etc. And then it's built into those apps that you're using every day. PowerPoint. So if you're asking it to, if you create a PowerPoint and you ask it to create the speaker notes for you, that's fantastic. Or if you've got a Word document and say create a PowerPoint from this Word document, again, really powerful. Or looking at your stats in Excel, go and build me a PowerPoint based on this Excel document to give me the stats to present to my team. The pricing we just touched on the previous one, you do have to commit for 12 months on the Microsoft 365 Copilot license. However, you can switch that between employees. So if someone leaves or you want to change it and try it with somebody else, you can switch who has access to license, but it is a 12-month commit. Can you prompt Copilot to use British English? Yes, there is a setting to give it predefined criteria. So I think that's even available in the free version, isn't it, Mike, as well? There's a cog
yes,
top right,
yeah.
And you can personalize it to you. So you can say, we're a charity that looks after donkeys in Greece. Look, this is our website, this is what we do, and you can give it all that information and context beforehand, and that's available in the free and paid versions.
So yeah, if there's anything you're not sure of, just drop us an email as well. We can always help out.
Great, amazing. Cheers, Mike. Thanks, everyone.
Great stuff. Thanks, everybody.